What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is your weekly reactor hunt video. I do one of these every week for the First Descendant because every week on Tuesday the reactors that you can get from specific missions in specific areas changes. This kind of mixes things up and lets you try new missions and get perfect reactors to drop from them. Now this video covers from the 22nd of October until the 29th of October. And I gotta say the pickings this week are kind of slim. It's not really a great week for hunting down reactors, but then again, when is it really a great week to hunt down reactors? You know what I mean? Nonetheless, there are a couple that I can point out and that we can go give a try and see if we can get some decent reactors to drop. Of course, we have the big reactor change where you can mount 3 different reactor weapons, or rather weapons, onto a reactor coming at the end of October, according to the latest news from the developer. So it's still worth it to actually go out and find reactors because you are looking for specific weapon hardpoints that you can then essentially mount over onto your reactor of choice. Now, first things first, how do I assemble this information? Of course, in the game itself, you can simply go to map and then you can press F, or you could choose difficulty level rewards, and then basically here you can filter on the skill type, the archetype, and so on, and then it will tell you for the week where you should be going to find those particular reactors. All we can do is we can simply make a list like this. This shows every single best in slot reactor choice per descendant, and then we can also just combine that list together because certain descendants use similar reactors. Like a good example is Izamo and Lepic. Both of them use fire tech, so technically speaking, while you are farming for Lepic, you are also farming for Izamo. So starting us off this week, first things first, we have materialized mechanics, which is your non-attribute tech reactors. It looks like this bad boy over here, and so this reactor type is usable by Ajax, by Kyle, and by Luna. And if you're looking for one of these that has a impact mounting on it, then this is a good week for you. Now, impact weapons, of course, let me just move my face over here, are things like the Perforator, Wave of Light, and everybody's favorite debuffing weapon, the Zastras, as well as there are some other ones which I'm not including in my bar here, but of course the Peacemaker, the brand new Frost Watcher, which was added on October 10th, and I mean, let's not forget Blue Beetle, even though it seems the developers have forgotten Blue Beetle. Either which way, if you're looking for a reactor for, as mentioned, Ajax, Kyle, and Luna with a impact mounting on it, this week you simply will go over here. So what we'll do is we'll say non-attribute and we will say tech. Okay, and that's a materialized mechanics. And then we'll see there is a very familiar area called the Abandoned Zone. The Abandoned Zone is of course in Echo Swamp, and we have this mission over here which is environment contamination zone. Dude, I have been making these videos for weeks now and I keep not being able to pronounce that. It's getting borderline embarrassing by now. Either which way, this mission is a mission that is super easily farmable by either a bunny or a Valby. Technically speaking, you can use any character to do it, but those two excel at this and can do it very fast. It has a relatively okayish high density of mobs, plus some, you know, elite mobs and basically mobs that have a chance of dropping pretty much all of the reactors and everything that you're looking for. Bear in mind that this is also a fantastic run for gold, Kuiper, weapon XP, and so on. Of course, it pales in comparison to something like the 400% dungeons and so on. Those have by far become the better way to level up your characters, but nonetheless this will not be a waste for you if you actually farm in this area looking to get a sexy reactor, because you will be actually getting some of the aforementioned resources as well. Then if you're a fan of Bunny, and I'm kidding, right? Like, who isn't a fan of Bunny? Now I know Bunny is like super unpopular to some people, but if you are a Bunny aficionado, this week you can get a Tingling Singularity, her reactor of choice, which is this bad boy over here. This is of course electric and singular, since that is where her sexiest ability comes from. This over here, lightning emission. Then this is a good week for you if you're looking for a special mounting on your reactor. So special, of course, there's a bunch of different special weapons, clairvoyance, Kingsguard Lance, but I would say the highlight weapon in the special mounting category is of course the Secret Garden. So if you're looking for that mounting on a weapon, this is a good week for you. There is a nice place where you can go farm. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna say electric and we're gonna choose singular, and we're gonna see Converter Facility. Now Converter Facility sits up over here in Fortress, and there's an outpost here that you can run a la the Valby outpost style. So basically basically what you do is you grab yourself a Valby, you make sure to not equip any mods that increase her skill range, so that her let's say water that she drags behind her is as small, as thin as possible. And then essentially you just run a circle on the inside of the outpost, making sure that you don't drag your water onto the boss. This gives you about 2 minutes and 36 seconds that you can kill these enemies, and they will drop a huge amount of reactors, as well as, you know, weapons and weapon XP and character XP, Kuiper, and gold. So again, you won't be wasting your time necessarily doing it. This is not the way that I would advise you to spend your time leveling if that's what you want to do, but this will give you hopefully a chance at seeing some decent tingling singularity reactors drop that have a special mounting on for you, something with Secret Garden, which is obviously always a good thing to have in the back pocket. Then next up we have Freyna. She's still as popular as ever. Of course, we had Ultimate Freyna that came out on October 10th. A lot of people are playing Freyna right now. I would say she's probably best in slot when you're doing 400% dungeons. I mean, she's definitely top 3, right? But just a hell of a lot of fun to play. And so her reactor of choice is, of course, Toxic Mechanics, which gets you Toxic and Tech. And the reason for that is obviously because all of her skills that deal damage, or that deal all of her best damage, are Tech skills. So this week, if you're looking for a general mounting for her, you are in luck. General mounting is, of course, I would say the most common mounting that we get in the game. So, of course, family favorites like Enduring Legacy and Thunder Cage are there, but also Python, which is also a popular weapon for her. So it's genuinely a good idea to get yourself a Toxic Mechanics reactor with some general mountings on for Freyna. And this week you can hunt that down. So what we can do is we can go on over here, we can put in Toxic, and we can select Tech, and that's going to give us Vermilion Waste. And just like the previous one with Bunny, this is an area that has an outpost, and you can do this outpost in the Valby style. By the way, you can also do this with Bunny, again making sure to not increase her range, and obviously not to actually equip high voltage, although Valby kind of like works better for this. So you run a circle on the inside. If you see the boss kind of like moving into your water, just pause on the other side and shoot at him a bit or so on, and kind of like pull him towards you. Or you can use your 4th ability, which creates kind of like a suck zone and basically sucks him towards you. It is a good idea to gear your Valby down though, so that you deal enough damage that you actually one-tap the enemies, but that you don't absolutely flatten the boss. So you got to get like a sweet spot in between there. I often see people complaining, saying like, dude, I kill the boss like so super fast. That's because you have all of your mod slots filled with massive damage mods, which you should absolutely do all the time, unless you're doing this farm. With this farm, you want to just 1 or 2 damage mods in, so that you actually, in fact, you don't even need that. Like just a decent reactor will get the job done, so that you just deal enough damage so that you kill the enemies as soon as they spawn in the water, which these are all just normal bar enemies, so it should not be a problem. You've got 2 minutes and 36 seconds. This is actually the best outpost to grind this way if you are also interested in XP and proficiency and golden Kuiper. This has been tested. I have a video of it on my channel, but this is the best outpost for that, and you're actually going to get decent gains here if you spend some time here. So don't feel bad about spending a couple of hours or a day or two looking for a decent Toxic Mechanics reactor here. It will be time well spent. And then, of course, last but not least, we have my favorite Descendant at the moment, Sharen. She uses Tingling Mixture. So this is Electric Infusion. I don't actually have that equipped right now, because if you are playing her buff variant or her weapon variant, your reactor choice doesn't matter. However, if you are looking to play her skill damage variant, then you are going to be looking for an Electric Fusion reactor, and that's because her flash short sword ability is a fusion ability, as is her cut off beam. Now, it's highly rumored that she is the next character that we will get an ultimate Descendant of, and that will of course be during season 2, most likely, unless they drop it as a surprise before season 2, which is highly unlikely, but I mention it nonetheless. So it's possible. At the moment right now, she does not have fantastic options when it comes to skill builds. You can build it okay, and you can build a high crit, but it's not great. And if you compare it, if you stack it up next to things like, you know, Freyna and you know, pretty much Viesa as well, and of course Bunny, then it's just not that great. But most likely when her ultimate comes out, they will give us a build for her that is really, really good in the skill damage department. And in that case, you're going to want to have a reactor that's good to go. And so therefore, Tingling Mixture, Electric Fusion is your way to go. Now this week you can find a good spot to farm these that give you general weapon mounting. So again, general weapon mountings is not a bad mounting to have. Some of the best weapons in the game are general weapon mountings. These are of course things like not Fallen Hope, but things like Enduring Legacy, Thunder Cage, Python, and so on. So definitely think about getting yourself one of these. Even a gun that I'm really enjoying at the moment right now, which is just a real workhorse, Eternal Willpower, is of course also a general rounds mounting. So that being said, if you are looking for one of these this week, you are simply going to go over here. You are going to choose electric and you're going to choose fusion. That is going to spit out these two, and the one that you're looking for is Shipment Base. Shipment Base is over here, and it has this very famous mission, Fortress Outskirts. Now, back in the very beginning of this game coming out, this was a really good spot to farm. They've nerfed it since then, so the spawns aren't as great as they used to be, but it's not fucking terrible. This is a very good spot to farm with a character like Bunny, because you can activate all 4 spawn spots at once and then kind of like just move between the 4 of them, just killing and farming out the enemies. You spend the entire time, you don't actually finish the mission, you spend the entire time waiting for these to sort of tick down by themselves, and as that happens you kill the enemies, you pick up all the loot. It's okay-ish weapon XP and character character XP, and of course Kuiper and gold, but the real reason that we're here is for the reactors. Of course we get mods and stuff that drop as well as weapons, so there'll be some good, just in general stuff for you to dismantle at the very least. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know in the comments what you are busy with in the First Descendant right now. I think a lot of people are getting into a nice groove now where you have the final boss, the new boss that was added, Deathstalker, on farm, or you're kind of like getting there. People have started to get their Freynas completely kitted out, and so now I know a lot of people are looking for more things to do and so on. And of course, one of the things that you can kind of like keep yourself busy with while you're doing all of the other things, and of course 400% dungeons, which are super fun right now, is trying to snag yourself a decent reactor. So good luck, happy farming, hope you get the stuff that you're looking for, and as always, it's super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Till next video, fucking cheers.